Hi guys, happy Wednesday. How y'all doing? Just make sure I'm up here on Facebook. It's 4 on Wednesday, which means it is Quilt As You Go. Hi, so long. Hi, Deb. Okay, here am I. Here I am. If you are on Facebook, say something so I can make sure we're all working okay. So, today is a continuation on my series for Quilt As You Go. We are doing a sew-along for 16 weeks here at the end of the summer. On Wednesdays, I'm providing free pattern and teaching for the project. I'm encouraging people to use their scraps so that they don't... hi, Dan. Cindy and Jennifer, hello. Amber, hi. She says, finally getting to watch. Nice. And Nancy, hi, Nancy. I am having so much fun, SEW, so much fun with this project. I love kind of returning, thanks sweetheart, back to the basics. For those who, hi Pam, hi Becky, Bonnie from Illinois, Missy from Redmond. She said she's working on her setting. Squares, hi Vintage and Homespun. How you doing? Okay, so Carolyn, hi Carolyn, big smiley face. I think it's been kind of fun returning back to some basics for me. I want to, just while everybody is kind of getting on, I want to apologize for Monday's live. Hi, Mom. I have no control over who joins this feed as a public live event. Anybody can join. And there were some gentlemen on Monday not making appropriate comments. Someone asking about a lawnmower. Hi, Dale Fisher. I hope you and the fam are well. Someone using some inappropriate language. So just so everybody knows, it's my goal to keep this show about the sewing and about the sewing machines. I have no interest in engaging anybody in any other type of discussion. And so I've asked some friends to, hi Donna. Nice, thanks for joining me, to help me do some monitoring. So if you see some inappropriate stuff, I have people dealing with it now. I guess this is the time and the place, hi Mary from Seattle, that I am now dealing with this, and it's totally to be expected. I'm actually a little surprised it hasn't happened before. So with that being said, accept my apology, and I have made precautions. We are not going to have that happen again. So this week, there's been some exciting stuff going on. I am in the process, for those of you who are located in the Phoenix Valley, of signing some contracts to come in and do some teaching in December. I am super excited, like over the moon excited, because I have been unable to do any type of teaching here in the Pacific Northwest. I live in King County, hi Pam Green, which is probably one of the most strict counties in the state of Washington regarding our opening and our phases, and so it doesn't look like I'm going to be teaching anytime in the near future, at least here in my home county. I do have, just so everybody knows, if you are local, there is a class at Quilting Mayhem in Snohomish, which is not King County, it's Snohomish County. They are open, and I do have a featherweight workshop now scheduled for October 10th. It's a Saturday. I hope that's the right date. You would sign up at the quiltingmayhem.com if you are interested. So, hi Melissa from Texas Hill County. How are you? Okay, so with that being said, Phoenix, it looks like Phoenix is going to book in December after the week of the 11th. And then I have a class coming up in October now at Quilting Mayhem in Snohomish. So just some updates to my calendar and stuff. And then I will be doing some, oh, Melanie. Hi, Melanie. She says, good evening from Mel, Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. That's fun. Thanks for joining me. Okay, this week, let's get to the good stuff. We are doing Scottsdale. Arizona. That's what this block is. I am using my color gradation fabric. As you can see, my very poor attempt on coloring. Good thing I'm a master quilter. I clearly can't color worth anything. And we're gonna put this block together kind of uniquely. So I ask for a little bit of patience while we do that. Deanne wants to know if I'll go to North Dakota. I don't know. Are you in North Dakota? Like, what else is in North Dakota? I travel, assuming my husband and COVID will let me. Okay, hi Sheila, how are you? All right, let's talk about our pieces. We have two 12-inch strips, so two really long strips. We have two shorter strips, 10-inch strips. And then we have two triangles. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this together kind of in a unique way. I am going to lay my colors out so my gradation is correct because I have enough trouble, you know, getting my seams right. I don't need to worry about my color. So I have now stripped my color from dark to light in my color gradation. Melissa says, I love your fabric. Can you share the brand? Oh, I'd love to. Yes. And yes, I'm here. Lots of quilters here. All right, we should talk. How about up in Michigan? I have tried, Cindy and Jennifer, to get up to Michigan, and the whole thing just fell through. I've tried. Hi, Kathy, sewing machine technician Dan. Thanks for joining me. Melanie says, I evacuated for 2 possible hurricanes. Brought another featherweight while away. Yay for all of us. Oh, you said you bought another featherweight? Girl, child. I am revoking your featherweight purchasing license. You're good. You're good. Your husband's going to ground you from me. You're good. Hi, Susie from Arizona. I'm coming to Arizona. Did you see? I'm coming in December. Yay. All right. Let's do this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our two 12-inch strips and we're going to put our right sides together and we're going to run a 1/4 inch seam down the right side. So that's what I'm going to do. I have got my school bell with me again. I'm going to look for my foot controller. You guys, it's been a day. It's been a day at the end of a week. We have one more camping trip this weekend, and then the trailer is getting winterized and put up. And I have to say, I'm kind of ready to stay home for a little bit. All right, so I'm making my little 1/4 inch seam down the long side, right side of my two 12-inch strips. We're kind of doing this unscientifically today, so you guys are just going to roll with me. Yes, Miss Susie, I'm coming the second week of December to Oasis out in Mesa. Hi, Becky. Becky Joe. Is that Becky Joe? All right. Two middle strips together, two 12-inch ones. Here's where we're going to get weird. I'm going to finger press the seam allowance to one side. It really doesn't matter which side. And then I'm going to take this strip set and I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to use my fingers to press the halfway mark on both sides, okay? So now I'm going to have like a finger seam. Do you guys see it? In the middle. And then I'm going to lay this down and grab my next color gradation strip. And I am going to take it in half also. And I am going to finger press with my finger, the heat of my... Kathy, I'd love to come to Tennessee. I have lots of friends there. You're just one friend in Tennessee. All right, so I've made a finger pressed seam. And I'm going to line my centers up like so. See how I have a top and a bottom? And now I'm going to sew that on my 1/4 inch seam allowance here. When I was a new quilter, I had not taken any formal classes. And it was before, this was 25 years ago this winter. I was a new quilter. And it was before the days of YouTube. It was before the days of social media where I had access to good teaching. I had my mom-in-law. She was an awesome teacher. She was also a bad influence. She's the reason why I started quilting. And I remember thinking that I needed to, I remember being warned about seam allowances and all that fun stuff, or a scant 1/4 inch seam. And I remember thinking, why do I need to, why does it matter if it's a few threads off? Well, you don't have to get too far down the road of quilting. Peggy Morrison, gosh, you guys are fighting over where I'm going. If you come to Tennessee, come to South Mississippi. I have not been to Mississippi. I have been to, hold on, where did I go? Mobile, Alabama is the only place in the South when I was working for the telecom company that I have been to in that neck of the woods. So anyway, I didn't understand, and it doesn't take you too long. I'm going to do the same thing with my last 10-inch strip. It's going to go on here. I'm going to, oops, not that side. I'm going to finger press the centers so I can line my centers up before I start stitching. So anyway, I was 7 years in. 7 years in. Hi, Carla. Happy Wednesday. Before I took any formalized classes for quilting. And, oh, good Lord, was I doing stuff wrong. And I landed up, it was harder for me, having been rather self-taught and not taking any formal classes, to undo bad habits that I had started with quilting, as opposed to, Melanie said, I agree, South Mississippi, come on down. Than to just learn right out of the gate, because I had developed a lot of bad habits. So I teach machine quilting classes, not only on the featherweight, but on any modern machine. It's actually part of my quilting repertoire when I go to Phoenix in December, is to do some quilting classes also. But I think it's much better when I have someone in class who's super intimidated to be in class because they're so new to quilting than to have someone like myself who had 7 years to develop a lot of bad habits and then try and undo them. So my hat's off to all of you new guys. You're in the right place and you're doing the right thing by seeking out good education. Okay. So here is my strip set. Do you guys see how my 12 inchers line up perfectly? And then my 10 inchers are flanked perfectly. Okay, so we're still not done with our half, our finger pressed half thing. So I'm gonna just re-press these with my fingers again real quick. Just to make sure, because we're gonna add the triangles on. We're also going to half those in order to line the triangles up right. All right, so you guys see my finger press line on here? Okay. So now we're going to take our triangles and we're going to fold them at the 90 degrees, so we still have another equilateral triangle. And I'm going to make a press line here so I can tell exactly where my halfway mark is. Sorry, the lights are a little bright. Maybe if I turn this down. Yeah, can you see any better? My seam press there. All right, I'm going to line that up with my seam, my pressed line on either side. So now I'm going to make a seam like this. And again, all this is lined up, and it's just lined up with by folding our fabric in half and making a pressed mark on it. All right, so we have one corner on. Now we're going to stick the other, look, it looks kind of like a hat. Sorry. Okay, I'm done being silly. I swear I'm only sipping water this afternoon. We're having our last little heat wave of the summer here in the Pacific Northwest. It's supposed to be in the 80s, upper 80s the next couple days. And through the holiday weekend, that's why we're going to take one last camping trip. We're going up to Index, which is kind of in the Cascade Mountains. And I'm going to try on Friday night for my sip and sew to come out from the campground, because I won't have any, it's a private campground, I won't have any cell coverage there. But I'm going to come out and meet you guys in Leavenworth, which if you are from the Pacific Northwest, you know Leavenworth. Leavenworth is, it's a German town. So the whole town has like a Bavarian feel to it. Even the Safeway, which is a grocery store, the Safeway letters are written in a German font with like a whole Bavarian thing. Every store and shop is like that in Leavenworth. It's a lot of fun. And if you like good bratwurst and German beer, it is awesome. So that will be Friday night in Leavenworth, hopefully. I can find a strong enough cell coverage. Okay, let's see what we got here. Lisa from Connecticut. Hi. All right, let me just, woo, goodness. Okay. There, light's better. Okay, so this is where we're at. Oh, I hate threads. Cutting threads. All right, guys, here's our block. You're like, Darlene, that doesn't look much like a block. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press so it's nice and flat, and then I'm going to square it up to 8.5 inches because that's our finished size. So let me get my, Missy's been to Leavenworth. She knows. Okay, let me just press all this over. Oopsie. All right, we're pressed. Yes. Now I'm going to trim, because I want to trim this to 8.5. Oh, hi, Milo Zoe from Australia. She said, got to get out more. Melanie Mitchell, that is a giant, no, it is not vodka. It's water, I promise. Melanie says that's a giant vodka tonic. It's not. You can't sip and sew. You can't. It's not good for your hands. I cut myself not drinking. All right, I'm going to trim this up to 8.5 inches. I'm basically just cutting the tails off of those strips, basically. All right, so okay. There is our 8.5 inch block. As you can see, it's not quite perfect. The edges, I didn't oversize it, but it'll be hid in our joins for our quilt as you go. So it's okay if it's not perfect. 92. Yeek. Wait a second. Evie's mama. That's my childhood friend, Ara. Hi. Thanks for joining me. We're doing a block lesson for quilting. Look how cute. All right, guys. So, everybody, we have talked about the free motion quilting. I have on the quilt plan that I put up on the blog this week. So you go to featherweightdoctor.com, scroll down to the middle of the home page, and you get journal posts and blogs, and then the uploaded cutting instructions and quilting pattern for the Scottsdale, Arizona block right here. I have you basically just stripping out the block, and then I'm going to have you just doing a weave pattern if you are not comfortable with the with the free motion quilting. If you are and you want to be daring and try it, what I'm going to have you do is with a pen that erases. So think water soluble pen, those blue water soluble pens. Think the purple air soluble pens. Think the friction pens that go away with the heat of the iron. We are going to Melanie said, this is the best lesson ever. Quiet confidence and exact measuring when cutting. We try. Amber said today is the first day they haven't been in triple digits in almost a month. Yeek. Pacific Northwest does not hit triple digits very often. So what I want you guys to do with your pen and a ruler, if you are going to just do your stitch in the ditch, I just want you to echo the quilt or the diagonal of the sashing. Sorry guys, my words were escaping me all of a sudden. So I'm going to draw this out with my pen that goes away so you can see what you're doing. And then I'll show you what I want you to do on the free motion if you want to attempt that. So you can see here I just drew out with some ink lines that go away with the iron. If you want to zig and zag and just with continuous line quilting, you know, come down, up, across the diagonals. If you don't want to do that and you want to attempt the free motion, this is what I want you to do. Take a ruler. We're going to make some what I call boundary lines. So boundary lines are lines that differentiate different areas of the quilting. We're not quilting the lines. So up to this point, I have given you drawn lines that I want you to quilt over. Now I'm pushing everybody out of kind of that beginning machine quilting framework, and I want you guys to try using boundary lines. So we're going to draw some lines on the quilt. We're not physically quilting the drawn lines. We are just telling our mind that we're going to change direction of some free motion quilting within this one designated area. I call them boundary lines. So I'm going to take my ruler and at about 2 3/4, I'm going to draw a box in the corner. I'm going to show you, don't worry. So this is what it looks like. Do you guys see the box I put in the corner there? Okay. So what we're going to do is in these half square triangles, basically, we're going to weave back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And when we hit the square, we're going to change direction. So let me draw that on there so you can see what it looks like. So when I say I want you to weave some straight lines, I mean I want you to keep your lines fairly consistently dense. So if you're going to choose to make your lines, you know, a 1/4 inch, I want you to try and be consistent with a 1/4 of an inch. If you want to make them wider, that's fine, or skinnier, that's fine. Just try and keep it consistent. And the other thing I want you to think about is how you turn around. Are you going to come up and U and come back down, U, come back down, U, or are you going to box it? Just keep it consistent, otherwise it looks like a hot mess. So here is what I mean by weaving. I think I have to lower my lights again. Okay. Do you guys see that horizontal line going back and forth? When we get to the box, we're then going to change it and go 180 degrees the other direction. And again, being consistent with how we're turning around, everything is going to be continuous line. Whether we U, or box, box, box. Totally up to you, but just keep it consistent. So just so you guys can see what I'm doing. I normally wouldn't draw this all out. I would just kind of go for it. But if you guys are more comfortable with the draw out and then following the lines, you do you. So let me just finish this up. the nice part about these friction pens is that it's just when you're done and you run the iron over it, it totally goes away. So here is the quilting design. Okay. All right. Let's see. I think I'm going to do the free motion, and you guys know how to do the walking foot quilting. Oh yeah. Milo Zoe in Australia has been making a lot of masks. She said with the COVID-19 to go outside, you must make them. I agree. Same here in the Seattle area in Washington. My mom. Okay, so I'm going to, I have my darning foot loaded on. Oops, I need to get my blue painter's tape. Hold on. Gonna cover my feed dogs with my blue painter's tape. And then I'm going to set my stitch regulator in the middle. Okay. Just a little piece will do ya. Okay. So I'm going to use my lines to do the weave. I'm going to bring my threads up to the top of my fabric and secure them as to not make an ugly little rat's nest on the bottom, just like you would with your modern machine. And then I'm going to make a series of teeny tiny little stitches as locking stitches. Siri wanted to talk to me. This school bell is so fast, I actually have to govern the throttle a little bit because she just wants to take off, and we're dealing with kind of a small area, and so I like to move a little slower to make sure I have a good amount of control. Now, I will say that I am a better quilter when I'm moving back and forth versus side to side, side to side. Optimally, with free motion quilting, you want to try and not move your project around based on the direction that you're quilting. You want to be able to move in every direction. Oh, there's a whole Facebook mask conversation going on. It must be inside. Yeah. My mom's in Texas, so she said same with Texas. And there in Phoenix too, you got to wear your masks. All right, so I'm going to do this the proper way. Maybe. I don't think I can actually hang on to the little side of the fabric. Okay. Going to all on a continuous basis. Okay, that is the free motion. So let me just take, you can see it looks like a bit of a mess because of my lines. Let me just flip this over and steam out my, there we go, my lines are gone, and I am left with pretty quilting. Look how nice that is. All right. So that is the free motion quilting lesson. I'm hoping from this point forward, my lights are dim. Let me turn my lights up there. Okay, so I'm hoping from this point forward to have free motion incorporated in the rest of the design. So we're on week 6 right now, and there's 16 weeks. So the next 10 weeks would be very good practice for you guys on free motion quilting. Kathleen says it's difficult to see the bed of the machine. I know, I'm sorry. I need to get the secondary camera set up, Kathleen, so you can see better. I just don't have it set up this week. I will be better next week, I promise. I've been working on some stuff with my daughter being my producer behind the scenes and being able to manipulate 2 different camera angles. So that's what we're going towards. Oh, thanks, Susie. Okay, so next week we have Sedona. Specifically, Bell Rock is our pattern. So I thought I would show you guys the sketch. I will be having the cutting instructions posted on Monday, as well as your quilt as you go instructions. If anybody is stuck with the free motion quilting portion of this, it's okay if you're not using a featherweight. Any quilting machine, any sewing machine will do. I can help you out with the setup and some troubleshooting if the machine is giving you trouble. I'd rather have you try it and see if it's for you before you just automatically chalk it up to not something you're not able to do. I will say it does take some practice. It probably took me a quilt or 2 before I felt comfortable with it. Now I almost prefer sitting down and doing my free motion quilting versus standing up at the long arm to do it. I feel like I have more control if I'm moving the quilt around under the needle versus the machine over the top of the quilt. You guys are cute. You're all talking about the face masks on Facebook. I want to thank everybody for joining me. Like this video if you haven't already done that. Feel free to share it with your friends. There's 16 more weeks of free education and content coming to you. I am taking questions now specifically on quilting for the Ask the Doctor series on Monday. So starting the first Monday of every month is going to be dedicated to to quilting questions specifically, not just featherweight questions. And then, like I said, Friday will be hopefully in Leavenworth with a really good signal and working on, I'm going to bring a machine this time. Hi, Sue Marshall, thanks for joining us. And so I should be working on I got to get my winter bed quilt done that I started a few months ago with you guys. My Tula Pink one, because winter is a-comin' here in the Seattle area. The sun is about to tuck away from behind the clouds for a few months, and it gets really drizzly and damp and cold outside. So I need my winter bed quilt done. Thanks, guys, for joining me. I hope everybody has a great Wednesday. And for those of you that can get out this weekend for the holiday, for the 3-day weekend, I encourage you to do that. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon.